Welcome back to Anderson Acres, where the animals are in charge and I'm just along for the ride. Today we're talking about one of the biggest challenges of farm life, managing your time and your resources. Because let's be honest, no matter how many planners or color-coded charts or how many early alarms you set, life on the farm has a mind of its own. If you've ever tried to plan your day only to have a goat escape or a chicken lay an egg in your chair and your feed order arrived 3 hours after you needed it, congratulations. You're officially living the dream. When people picture farm life, they tend to imagine serenity, roosters crowing and dew on the grass and sipping coffee as the sun rises. And yeah, those moments exist. They always do. But that's not always the reality. In reality, you're probably sipping that coffee cold because you got distracted chasing ducks out of your garden. Time management on a farm isn't about controlling every minute. It's about learning to dance with chaos and making progress anyway. The first thing I had to learn is that farm time doesn't run on the same clock as regular time. You think a task will take you 10 minutes? Triple it, minimum. Cleaning a stall? 40 minutes if everyone behaves and stays out of your way, which they won't. 2 hours, probably, because they're going to be crawling around everywhere and getting in your way and being annoying. Okay. So instead of trying to force the day to follow a rigid schedule, I learned to build flexibility into the plan before you even start. I start with priorities: feeding, water, health checks. That's what's important. Everything else has to fit around that. Because animals don't care what your planner says, it doesn't matter if it's supposed to be time to weed the carrots. If a goat's in trouble, that's the schedule now. And that's the key. Build your routine around the non-negotiables. Every farm has them. Feeding time, milking time, egg collecting, watering. Those things come first. Then fill in your floating tasks, the ones that can move around. Fixing fences and cleaning pens and tracking the never-ending to-do list of small repairs. Some days you'll get ahead. Some days you'll barely make it out alive. Both count as success. Now, when it comes to managing resources, and I mean resources in the broader sense, it's all about balance. Money, energy, feed, even daylight. It's all part of the same ecosystem. I don't ask, can I afford this feed upgrade? I ask, can I afford the time, effort, and maintenance that come with it? The cheapest option isn't always the best one, but neither is the fanciest. Sometimes resource management means getting creative with what you've got. Reusing materials and trading with neighbors, timing purchases for the off season when everything's not as expensive and you have more cash floating around. For example, I learned the hard way that if you buy hay in midsummer when everyone else does, you're completing for supply. But if you plan ahead and you build a little storage space and you buy early, you save money and stress. That's resource management. It's not just about having enough, but having it when you need it and not having to pay through the nose to pull that off. Another big piece of time management is knowing your rhythms. And I don't mean your personal energy cycles, though yes, that matters as well. I mean your farm's rhythms. Every property, every farm has a pulse, okay? The morning chores flow a certain way. The evening routine has its own tempo. Even the animals adjust to a pattern if you stay consistent. When you tune into that rhythm, everything becomes more efficient. You move with the farm instead of fighting against it. Makes a difference. And listen, you don't have to do everything every day, okay? Everything does not need to be done today. I used to think that if I wasn't tackling 5 projects at once, I was falling behind. But the truth is, spreading yourself too thin just about guarantees that nothing's going to get finished at all. I've learned to batch my work. Mondays might be for cleaning pens, and Tuesdays might be for maintenance, and Wednesdays is for feed inventory. The point is to group similar tasks so you stay in the same mindset and save time switching between chores. Every time you switch, you lose time. So batch your stuff. Schedule it during the week. And yes, I know batching sounds fancy for trying to survive farm chaos, but it works. If I'm already dirty and sweaty from mucking stalls, I might as well fix the broken gate while I'm at it. I call that strategic grime. It's efficient and it gets things done. Now let's talk about the one thing no one tells you about when you start farming. You will never ever be done. There's no finish line. None. The moment you fix one problem, there's two more waiting for you. They're like weeds during a rainstorm. That's not failure. That's the rhythm of the farm. So instead of chasing perfection, aim for progress. A tidy barn that stays clean for 12 solid hours is a victory, okay? Now, one of the biggest shifts for me was realizing that time management isn't just about how you use your minutes. It's about how you protect your energy. Because burnout is real out here. You can't pour from an empty feed bucket. I know it's supposed to be empty cup. I have more feed buckets than cups. If you're constantly running behind, exhausted, frustrated, your animals will feel it. Your work suffers and you stop enjoying the life you've built. So rest when you can, recharge, sit with your coffee, watch the goats be totally ridiculous. Those moments are as much a part of the farm routine as feeding and cleaning. I also want to touch on the resource mindset because that's where time and money meet. Sometimes managing your resources means saying no. No more animals, no more projects, or even no more good deals. I know it's hard. Every farmer has a weakness for something. It might be hatching eggs or new equipment or baby goats. You might accidentally bring home baby goats. Everyone's got a weakness. But if your time is already stretched thin, every new addition is just going to multiply your workload. You're not just buying an animal, you're buying years of feeding and cleaning and fencing and vet care. So before you expand, ask, do I have the time and the budget for this? If the answer is no, that's not failure, that's just smart management. It's okay to be honest with yourself. It's okay to tell yourself that, you know what, I can't take on another goat right now. I just can't. I know it needs a home, but I'm not the right place at this time. It's okay to be clear, okay? Now let's talk tools, because no matter how much we love doing things the old-fashioned way, efficiency is king. The right tools can save hours, but the trick is not to fall prey to every shiny gadget that claims to make your life quicker and more efficient. Half of them end up in the shed after a week. Invest in things that are actually going to save you time, that will complement the way you work. Not what someone on the internet thinks you need to have, okay? What works for someone else might not work for you. And you might not even do that task and you still might think you need the item. Don't do that. So for me, it means buying a lighter wheelbarrow that doesn't throw my back out. It's about making sure I have enough buckets in the winter so I don't have to wait for one to defrost before getting the ice out. It's that kind of thing. For some people, it might be better lighting in their barn or a new skid steer, but that's not what it is for me. So you have to think about what you do and how you do it. And it's not about spending money. It's about spending your money smartly. Tools are an investment in time. Every hour saved on chores is an hour you can put towards building fences, improving soil, or heaven forbid, sitting down for a moment. And while we're on that note, let's talk about systems. I know it's boring, but every farm has systems, even if they're messy ones. Systems keep you from reinventing the wheel every single morning. You want to label your bins and keep your tools where they belong. You want to write down feed amounts and breeding dates and egg counts. I know it sounds tedious and boring because it is. But those little notes add up to major time savings when you don't have to guess what you did last week or what you're supposed to be doing this week. Write it down. It's boring and it's pedantic and it's normal. It'll also save you time, energy, and money. Another overlooked part of time and resource management is seasonal planning. The farm year runs in cycles, and if you can anticipate the busy seasons, you can prep for them instead of scrambling. Winter is maintenance and rest. Spring is chaos, babies, and mud. Lots of mud. Summer is growth. Fall is harvest and prep and days that don't seem like they could get any longer, and then they do. The more you align your work with those natural cycles, the smoother your year is going to run. It's not about predicting everything. It's about being ready for what you know is going to come, because fall is always the time of harvest and prep. That's what it is. So it helps to be prepared. It helps to align your tasks so you're not switching back and forth constantly. And if there's one thing I've really learned, it's to delegate, even if that means delegating to future you. I keep a list I call next week me. That's for next week's me. It's for all the things I can't do today, but I also can't forget to do it all. Because let's face it, farm brains are full of noise. Chores and feed counts and animal names and gate locations and 500 half-finished projects. Writing it down means I can let it go and focus on what needs to be done now, what's in front of me. That's resource management for your mental bandwidth. And lastly, and this might be the most important part, remember why you're doing this. You didn't start a farm to drown in stress. You started it because you love animals, you love nature, you like the independence, and the satisfaction of hard work that actually matters. The best time management tool you'll ever have is gratitude. If you can look around the mud, the feathers, the chaos, and if you can still smile despite all of that, you're doing something right. So to sum it up, build flexible routines, protect your energy, spend smart, and embrace the imperfection of it all. Because no farm is perfectly managed. Not mine, not yours, not anyone's. But every day that you show up, every day you feed the animals, every day that you do your best, that's success. Now that is about it for me here today at Anderson Acres. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's your biggest time management challenge on the farm? Is it keeping up with the chores or staying organized or just finding 5 minutes to sit down before a chicken claims your lap? I'd love to hear how you make it work. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We'll see you tomorrow.